have never gone live before to just talk about the energies and the downloads, but I watch videos like this all the time. These are low-key, well no, I've started watching other stuff on YouTube. I was about to say this is low-key the only thing I watch on YouTube. That's a lie. I started watching other stuff on YouTube, but primarily I like to get into things like this here. So I'm gonna light some candles and we're gonna talk about the energies of the full moon in Pisces, and I might pull some cards and get into it. But yeah, so overall the theme of this full moon is bringing the problems to the surface. Now this is what I've been seeing and feeling from my readings and things like that. I'm also going to save this live. I usually never ever save my lives, but I was on live a couple days ago and someone mentioned that I should consider saving the lives, so I am going to start to save the lives. So let me get my legs crossed. But yeah, so basically, I don't want to pull one of these cards. Let me get a different set of oracle cards. Let me get a different set. I don't want this one either. Maybe this one. I don't want this one. Maybe I don't want to really use this. None of my cards are really doing it for me right now, guys. Maybe I won't use any cards for right now. But yeah, so we have a full moon this evening in Pisces. So we're just going to be talking about the energies of the full moon. So basically this full moon is just showing everybody, all of us, what isn't working and what we need to do basically about what isn't working. This isn't really a time to focus and be down or depressed or sad because you're realizing this isn't what I need, that isn't what I need, this isn't really, giving me what I'm feeling. I feel like it can be easy in moments like this to just get so down because all of these problems are showing up. But these problems are showing up so you can figure out the solutions, but because this full moon is being led by Pisces, which is a water energy, which is intuitive energy, but also emotional energy as well. And Pisces are definitely the water sign that I feel is kind of on the more dramatic side. Pisces are very, very expressive, you know what I'm saying, very creative. You kind of can't really miss a Pisces, kind of like a Leo woman in my opinion. Like when I meet a woman that's a Pisces, I'm like, I can tell you're a Pisces. They're usually very, very bubbly, very, very smiley, very happy, really good energy. So this energy that we're experiencing really isn't something that we can forget or glaze over or act like it's not happening. Like the issues, the problems that are coming to the surface are things that we cannot ignore. So I feel like because there are so many problems that are coming up that we can't ignore, it's definitely stressing the collective out. It's worrying us, it's bringing us down, it's making us frustrated, it's adding a lot of stress. But if we pay attention to what all of these issues are telling us, we can use these issues to basically figure out how we need to move forward in a better light. Like I just gave the analogy. Let's say, for example, you're learning how to ride a bike. You're learning how to ride a bike and you fall down every single day when you're learning how to ride a bike. It's like you fall down every day and you could be thinking like, dang, I'm not good enough. I don't have the stamina. I'm not athletic enough. I'll never get this. I don't have any balance. Or every time you fall down, you could be like, okay, when I lean a little bit this way, I lose my balance. So let me not do that. Let me get some training wheels because maybe I need a little bit of help. Or let me try to just go up and down the street instead of around in circles. When we see problems, it's up to you to see the issue and create more issues, or see the issue and create solutions. So this full moon is all about creating solutions. It's about understanding why the issues are showing up in the first place and why, why now is the time to act on them. I also made a video not too long ago just talking about how we're, collectively the consciousness is still in 2020. So I feel like now is a real 2020 year where it's just a lot of 2020 energies right now, where it's kind of like a purge of all of the stuff that we haven't fixed since 2020 and all of the stuff that's still wrong from 2020. and money issues, love issues, like going through 2020 dealing with bullshit in love and career, and being like, after this I'm gonna get great things in career and love, I'm gonna look better, I'm gonna get fit, I'm gonna do all of this, and none of those things happen, or none of those things have happened. And I feel like these last couple of weeks, and it isn't necessarily even this full moon, I feel like that's just been the energy in general, but I feel like lately we've really, all of the things that we haven't done, that we were supposed to do, or that we thought we maybe were getting into and we didn't, all of those things are coming to the forefront. And it's like, so what you gonna do about that relationship that you said you didn't want to be in, or what you gonna do about this money that you're not making, or what you gonna do about these issues that keep popping up? And I feel like, wow, a gnat? Whoa, I have not seen a gnat in like years. Not years, but I have not seen a gnat in this place since I moved. Why is there a gnat? Where's that even coming from? But one singular gnat, so strange. But I do feel like, I definitely feel like collectively it's going to be really beneficial to embrace all of the issues that are popping up right now, because collectively we kind of aren't really in the mindset yet to see a problem and be like, I have a solution. We're still in the mindset to see a problem and be like, I knew I shouldn't have got out of bed today. Let me stay in bed for 3 more days because I knew I shouldn't have got out of bed today, and that's why I walked into this issue. I knew I shouldn't have trusted this person. Let me make sure I never love again because I knew I shouldn't have trusted them in the first place. Now isn't the time to feel like that and have that hanging over your head. Like, it's not the time to beat yourself up because things aren't working out or things aren't falling into place. It's really a time to love yourself and support yourself more than ever, because you're able to just understand what isn't working and also how these things are affecting you. It's like, how are you affected by the relationship that still isn't giving you what you want, and it hasn't given you what you want in the last 18 months? How is that affecting you? Like, how is the job affecting you that you were supposed to put in your 2 weeks 6 months ago and you still haven't? And you were supposed to invest in your business and you didn't do it yet. And you haven't really started saving money. It's like, how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about your home, being in your home that you've been supposed to clean since spring cleaning, and we're getting into the fall? It's like all of these things that we've been dragging our feet in. This full moon is really bringing these things to the surface, and it's letting us know how these things are affecting us spiritually and affecting how we see and feel about ourselves. I know a lot of us have been feeling lazy or inadequate or not worthy or confused or frustrated or lost or hopeless or depressed, down, because of the things that aren't working. But in these things, no matter what is not working, there is a solution that can help you get back on track. Like, there are ways to make your environment suit you better. There are ways to make your energy suit you better, your relationships, your home, everything. Like, no matter what space you're in, there are ways to allow these things to just, benefit you a lot more and give you, more love and more energy. Yeah, definitely a reality check. I don't want to get too much into the chat because I know I'm going to save this live video. And I think when you're doing lives or when you save lives, people can't really see the chat as it's coming up. So if I'm all in the chat, it might not make sense, when people are watching the video back. But yeah, I feel like this full moon is really an opportunity to release and just be real about how you've been feeling in the full moon, because I feel like, I don't know why people are listing placements. I feel like we haven't really allowed ourselves to feel the things that we've been experiencing either. It's been frustrating us or making us mad or making us, aggravated, but we haven't really allowed ourselves to cry about it or, just be like, damn, that really fucked me up and it made me kind of hate myself, or damn, that really fucked me up and made me kind of really doubt myself, or damn, I really almost threw the fucking towel in. How dare I almost quit on me because of some inconveniences? Like, this is a really good time to allow yourself to transparently feel like, yes, it is definitely the time to cry, honey, and let some shit off of your chest. Like, seriously. I don't really cry often. I cry a lot when I'm watching TV and movies and stuff now. But if you ever need to cry, just put on an episode of Grey's Anatomy, to be honest. But I usually have big moments of release where I literally cry for a day straight, And I had a moment like that about a couple of months ago, maybe a little over a month ago, where I just cried all damn day. And it hurt so bad that day, like in the moment of release, Like, ooh, it's something about physically releasing, like, and allowing yourself to like sob and like really get that shit out. It feels so straining. Like, crying feels so straining to me. It feels like my heart and my chest and everything is just being like drained and like wrung out like a towel. But after that, I'm always like, woo, I'm glad I got that out the way, because you really cannot avoid release. You cannot avoid feeling how you need to feel. You cannot avoid giving yourself that grace and that opportunity to do that, because that's what needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's absolutely what needs to happen. Like, I feel like whenever we step into new spaces, we move so quickly that the stuff from the past just kind of never really gets dealt with or never really gets handled. And I feel like now a lot of things that are popping up in this full moon, in this, week that we've had, the stuff that's been popping up has been stuff that we've already kind of known has been an issue. Or maybe we've had in our mind, like, I wonder what I would do if this would happen. And now it's happened. So it's like, what are you going to do? Who are you going to lean on? How are you going to support yourself in this? Can you even support yourself in it, So I feel like now is definitely a time to figure out what you need, how you can better support you, and also how your energy can better support you. Oh yeah, for sure. The best thing to do is to let it out and release, for sure, especially on a full moon. The energy here is releasing and being open and being free. I am not here to talk about me, because I am the therapist, not the attendee of the therapy. Y'all are attending the therapy, okay? And for me, I'm just not that comfortable with vulnerability. That's just how I always have been. I'm not that comfortable with vulnerability. I'm much more comfortable in my masculine energy. And a lot of times, I just don't allow myself to cry over anything, because the tears ain't gonna help nothing. That's the first thing. It ain't gonna help the situation. A Leo, of course. The tears ain't gonna help shit. And also, I feel like, after you cry, the problem is still there. And that's true. The problem is still there. But you aren't bound by the problem, because you've already felt how you need to feel about it. And that's what release does. It allows you to not be emotionally controlled by something. Because if you know that you need to release something, you'll do whatever you can do to avoid it, to move around it, to not look at it, to not talk about it. Somebody will bring it up and you'll do whatever you can to switch the conversation and switch your attention. But it's like, when you just allow yourself to not be distracted and you just allow yourself to feel. Feeling is healing, and you have to feel it to heal it. I always say that because it's the truth. You have to allow yourself to feel whatever you need to in order to move forward. That really is the only human way to move forward with anything. And our energy holds so much. And like I was saying before, the stuff that we have not dealt with since 2020 is still fucking there. It's still there. And it's not like we've really had a chance to breathe, because 2020 happened. They gave us them little fucking crumbs, that little stimulus crumb that did not last us no money. People are back broke, back homeless, back hungry, back lost, and don't really know what the fuck is going on. Like, them pandemic relationships have crumbled. If they weren't supposed to sustain you, they're over now, or they're getting into the space of being over. So it's kind of like we're in a space of newness. It's kind of like the new year is going on, and we've already had the Lionsgate portal in August. We're still kind of purging and getting into that new year space, So I really feel like it's a great time to just listen to your spirit and see what your spirit needs, and give your spirit whatever it needs. If you need to sit in the sun, like I went outside and did some sunbathing today. Clearly not enough, because I'm still pretty pale, so I need to do some more. But I went outside today and did some journaling and some sunbathing, and just, listen to what my spirit needed. And I think that that's so important, because especially now, as problems come up, you want to avoid your spirit more and more, because you don't want to think about the problems and the issues and what hasn't been fixed and what needs to be worked on. You don't want to think about that and focus on that. You want to focus on what is working, but the stuff that's working doesn't need your attention. It's the stuff that isn't working that's going to bleed that, imbalance into every space in your life, unless you start to focus on it and pay attention to it and give it what you need. You know what I'm saying? So you really want to allow yourself to step into the spaces. I say I'm pale because I'm usually like brown. I'm usually a little more brown than this. Somebody said if I'm pale, they must be albino. I'm usually a little more brown than this, but definitely in my face. Like, I feel like my face now, I'm not that pale. I'm usually a lot more pale than this, especially in my winter months. My face gets damn near yellow, but I spend a lot of time in the sun though to counteract it. So for me, unless I'm like dark chocolate, I need to get back in the sun. But I feel like it's just a good time to listen to your energy, listen to your spirit, listen to yourself, and deal with it once and for all, even though it might be painful. Speaking from someone who literally runs from their emotions any chance they get, you know, it's not going anywhere. It's still going to be there, and you still have to deal with it. And I kind of stopped thinking of time in a sense of days of the week or New Year's or months, and I really just try to make the most out of whatever space I'm here. And I feel like as we are just, months are passing so quickly, weeks are passing so quickly, years are passing so quickly, it really benefits us to just kind of take accountability and take a little spiritual inventory to see how things have been affecting us. So I definitely would recommend taking some time this week, tonight, in the next 3 days, or just, you know, whenever you're moving forward in the future, just take some time, even every month or every week, to just think about how the things in your life are affecting you. How is your job affecting you? How is your relationship affecting you? How are your children affecting you? How is your home affecting you? Is your family affecting you? You know, how everything in your life is affecting you. It's good or bad. It's leading you to your goals or it's pulling you from your goals. It's helping you make sense of things or it's confusing you. You know, just taking an inventory, a spiritual inventory of how you feel, what's going on, what you need, what's unlocking for you is really going to be so beneficial, because at the end of the day, nobody really knows what's going on with you except for you, and nobody can really help you if you don't know what's wrong in the first place. You know, I also deal with, you know, clinical depression and anxiety as well, and PTSD, and some compulsive, you know, habits. So my mental health issues make it very, very difficult for me, and also sometimes very dangerous for me to fully allow my emotions to run wild. It can be a very scary thing to sometimes feel, you know, how you be feeling about life. You know, I'm not going to get too deep into my shit because I am not the therapist. I mean, I am not the one in therapy, so I don't want to get too deep into my shit. You know, I talk very candidly about what I experience. And I feel like I absolutely manage my symptoms very, very well. But it's harder to be optimistic and grateful when you feel like life doesn't fucking matter and you feel like all of the bad shit is going to keep being bad and it's never going to be good. And it's very easy to get into spaces like that now in 2022, regardless if you have depression or fucking not. You know, it's easy to get in spaces where you're like, this, nothing fucking matters. This is a waste of my fucking time. No matter what I do, the government is going to be what the government is. My family is going to be what they are. I can't change this. I can't change this. But it's all about balance, because I feel like there is so much that we are in control of, even though there is so much that's out of our control. I feel like, you know, a lot of people always say that you're always in control of your mind and how you react and how you respond to things. But having mental health issues, you don't always feel like you're in control. There's plenty of times where I feel like I am gone out of my body and I don't have any control over what I'm feeling or how I'm expressing or anything like that. So I feel like moments where you are present enough to feel that something isn't working, you want to take advantage of those present moments, because you're not always going to have the benefit of being present and knowing when something is off. Because how many times have we been in situations where it took us months to realize that somebody wasn't our friend, or months to realize that a job wasn't what we needed, or months to realize that we needed to get out of a relationship? You know, sometimes it takes you a long time to pick up on what isn't working for you. And right now, I feel like those things have really been like, those things, it's not hiding anymore. Like, the stuff that you need to see is being revealed. The darkness is being fucking revealed. Like, nobody's darkness, none of that shit is being hidden anymore. And I love that, because the transparency of spirit is allowing us to see darkness everywhere and light everywhere in your life and in everybody else's life around you and in every situation. Like, you aren't able to look at anything and not see the good and the bad. It's very, very clear. It's out there. It's literally, exactly, even in your dreams, it's out there. And a lot of times you might not even understand something physically and then have a download or a dream and you're like, God damn, that's what this means. You know, like, we're really in a space where nothing is hidden and you really do not have to try hard to tap in and get the downloads. And I feel like God is speaking to all of us so clearly. I feel like God is screaming to everyone to tap. My cats are about to get a punishment. They're scratching my furniture and they know I don't fucking play that. But I'm working right now. But they know I don't play that. But anyway, I feel like right now, you know, there really is, we have the benefit of transparency, and it's a blessing and a curse, because how many people, you know, like if somebody asked you 6 months ago, would you like to see everything that you need to fix in your life? Would you like to just get a list of all the stuff that you need to fix? Some people might be like, oh yeah, I definitely want to see what I need to fix, because you're thinking, if I see what I need to fix, I can make the changes, right? Now we're in that space. Now we're in the space involuntarily where everything is being shown to us whether we like it or not, and it really is a gift, because now we can use these things to our benefit and make these necessary changes. So yeah, let's go ahead and pull a couple of cards. I'll just pull a few. I'm not really in the mood to pull too many because I just did hella readings, so I don't want to pull too many. Cats are definitely badass kids. Oh my god, they're insane. Ooh, let's not even talk about differences. I definitely feel like I've had maybe I definitely had an awakening in 2020. I have to get my cats, guys. I cannot let them destroy my things. I'll be right back. They cannot destroy my things. I will not have it. And they literally have their own room. It's like, do you guys not want to be in the cat lounge with the cat trees and the fucking, do y'all not want to be in the cat lounge? Y'all want to be on the furniture. It's not happening. But yeah, let's pull some cards. Let's pull some cards. Yes, let's pull some cards and see some things. I'm not sure where I left off, but let's just pull some cards, guys. Cats definitely do what the hell they want, but shit, they don't get right up in here, girl. I don't play that. All right. So we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Six of Cups in reverse. And we also have the Ace of Wands in reverse as well, guys. So obviously, you know, fear of making plans, releasing stuff from the past, fear of creating new things. So a lot of people do not like reversals, but I like reversals. That's another thing about me, guys. Like, that's another thing about me. I'm not necessarily an emotional person, but I don't mind finding out the problems because I'm Mrs. Fix-It. Please let me know what the issue is, God. Please tell me what the fuck I need to fix. I welcome the darkness and the dark messages and the sadness and whatever pain. I just welcome it because you cannot avoid it. I know that. And avoiding it doesn't do anything. And ignorance is not bliss. You know, knowledge is a bliss. Ignorance is not. And I feel like a lot of times running from problems or running from bad messages, it just creates like a false sense of what this life is, because the only thing that is true and guaranteed in this life is fucking pain, unfortunately. You know, like, we definitely experience happiness and love and joy, but there's a time for everything. Like the good Lord says in the Bible, honey, it's a time for war and a time for peace. It's a time to mourn and it's a time to be comforted. It's a time for everything. And I feel like most of this world today is about the matrix. It's about distractions. It's about, look at this social media, look at this BBL, look at this restaurant, look at this club, look at this trip, look at this shit that does not fucking matter. Because at the end of the day, when you in that box and your soul is somewhere else, you gonna want the tea. You know, you gonna want the tea. And the darkness really allows you to grow. Do not. Oh my gosh. Someone said they feel punished when they get reversals. Do not. Like, but I know I do readings for people and they see the devil and they're like, ooh, the devil card, or they'll see the death card and they're like, oh my gosh. But I don't know. I guess I'm kind of, I'm not afraid of darkness or death, or none of that scares me. It just doesn't bother me. It just doesn't bother me. Spiritual death or physical death. I'm just okay with whatever negative things are going to happen because it's kind of unavoidable. And I feel like that kind of makes me a little cynical, but also I feel like it makes me available to accept the bad news or the less than happy news. Oh, shadow work, honey. My life is shadow work. Please, my life is shadow work. So let's get into it. With these reversals, you know, definitely if you are having issues planning for the long term, I feel like some of us have been trying to take your today relationship and say, okay, what is this marriage going to look like in 3 years? And it's not going to last that long. Or you're looking at your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your partner, whoever, and you're like, okay, how am I going to look, you know, with this person in 6 months? And it's not going to last that long. You know, like if you are having issues seeing the future, for whatever you want to get into or for whatever you want to step into, it's not by accident. I feel like a lot of times if we are having issues making those long-term investments, it's for a reason. And don't be afraid to backpedal and say, okay, why won't this last for the rest of my life? What is the issues? How can I make things work? Because just because you see today that something isn't going to allow you to get into another space, that doesn't mean that it has to be canceled, you know, because I feel like, you know, and I always tell people, especially in love readings, just because something may or may not be working out right now doesn't mean that it's not going to work out in the future. Nothing is going to be great every single day. Your job isn't going to be great all the time. Your marriage is not going to be great all the time. You are not going to like them fucking kids every day. It's not always going to be great all the time, but you want to be able to see a future in whatever space you're in, and you want to be able to trust that it can sustain you in the future. Even if it isn't sustaining you right now, you want to be able to say, okay, me and my man might not be good today, but I know what we need to do so we can be good tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So don't allow these things to make you be like, okay, all of my plans are on hold. I'm scratching everything. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Don't do that. It might not be fine today, but take this time to rest. Take this time to break. Take this time to regroup, to refocus, to reflect, and be able to come up with something that is going to sustain you. Also, if your plans have been A, B, C, and D, and you need to switch to 1, 2, 3, 4, you might need to scratch everything and start over, but it doesn't mean that you don't have a future. It might just mean that you need to go into a different direction. Also, we have the 6 of Cups in reverse, so releasing stuff from the past, childhood stuff, inner child stuff, old relationships, your first love, your first job, your old dreams, things that you put a lot of effort in, old friendships, stuff like that. A lot of old stuff coming back up. Also with this Mercury retrograde, a lot of old stuff coming back up, but it's an opportunity for you to deal with it once and for all. Like I said, when you don't deal with something the day it happened or the moment it happened, it ain't gonna permanently go away. You're gonna deal with it. You might just deal with it, you know, 6 months down the line or a year down the line. And God forbid that something happened in 2018 and you have not let it go. You're gonna have to let that shit go, like, period. So allow yourself to let stuff go and let yourself feel. If you have to mourn a relationship, mourn a friendship, mourn whatever that you have to move away from, allow yourself to do that. Also, with this Ace of Wands in reverse, you definitely want to just, I feel like, of course, in this space, nobody wants to create. You know, in this space, you don't want to create. You don't want to do anything new. You don't want to bring anything new into the table because you feel like your table is full of shit. So you're like, I'm not about to put nothing on this table, the table full of shit. I ain't about to put nothing else on the table. You need to put something else on the table. You might need a new table, and that's fine. The Ace of Wands is about upright. This is the energy of a fresh start, a clean slate, a new beginning, and that's what the fuck you need. You can't be so afraid of the current moment that you're like, I don't want to do anything else. It's like, that's how fear keeps you fucking stagnant. It's like you will stay at a job that you don't like because you're scared to get a new job, but you hate that job. So what's worse? Being miserable or just doing it scared? Like sometimes you have to learn how to move being afraid, or how to move even though you might not be 100% sure how it's going to work out, or if it's going to work out, or when it's going to work out. You know, sometimes you just have to trust whatever needs to be will be, and you really don't have any control, honestly, over what falls into your lap and what doesn't, because everything has already been written, of course. But I do feel like the desires of your heart are your desires for a reason, because if you ask 3 people, you know, what their life, what their dream life is, you know, and just say, hey, tell me a few things you want for your dream life, everybody will tell you something different, because we all have different dreams. And I feel like the dreams that we have are individually ours because God has put those things in our hearts. So yes, we don't really have any control, but you really don't need that much control, because the stuff that you want is the stuff that you're going to get anyway. And God is already bringing it into your path anyway. So all you have to do is show up and make sure that your energy is right. And if you're in a space where you're seeing how everything isn't working, how can you turn that around? How can you allow yourself to see, you know, how you need to move forward and how you need to expand, so you can turn that energy from, damn, nothing is working, everything is a fucking mess. How can you turn that into, let me try some new shit. Let me turn this into a blank slate where I can start fresh and give myself a new chance. Give yourself a new chance. We also have the Knight of Cups in reverse, okay? So a lot of y'all, like I said, thinking that somebody gonna be with you forever, thinking that you're gonna be on a job forever, thinking that you're gonna be doing this, that, and the third forever. It might not always be forever. Everything is not everything. You know, the Knight of Cups in reverse is just about being played, you know, coming across a lot of things that make you feel like, oh, this is exactly what I need. It's not, you know, and I feel like the space that you're in right now, this is why I don't be afraid of negativity or be afraid of finding out the issues. Because when you are, I don't want to say skeptical, because I don't really want anybody to be skeptical. But when you have it in your mind that there is good and that there is bad, that's why I say ignorance is not bliss. Knowledge is bliss, and knowledge is freedom and power. Because when you're able to understand it's not always going to be good, you recognize those red flags a little bit better, and you're able to set boundaries a little bit better, and you're able to be like, okay, this isn't what I deserve, instead of accepting everything because you're like, it's all gravy. No, the fuck it's not. It's not gravy. It's not all gravy all the time. But sometimes, especially coming from places like this, when you're longing for gravy, girl, you'll think diarrhea in a bucket is gravy. It's not gravy. I'm sorry, but it's not gravy. And that's what the Knight of Cups is. The Knight of Cups is diarrhea in a fucking bucket. And somebody's like, girl, this is my grandmama's famous gravy. Bitch, that's not gravy. That is doodle in a bucket, and I don't fucking want it. Period. But if you've never had the sense to be like, let me smell this. Let me see how this moves. Let me check the consistency of this shit before I put it over some mashed potatoes and put it in my motherfucking mouth. You might be eating shit. And I feel like a lot of us have been eating shit involuntarily. Definitely involuntarily. I used to be eating a lot of shit before too. Before I was able to just decide, like, if you put this with this, it's still bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I hate the diarrhea in the bucket, but that's I hate that analogy. But it really is a real tea. Like, it's really the real tea. And I said everything was all gravy. So I'm sorry, guys. I get a little like I say, sometimes I get a little cynical. But like I said, like, a lot of times we can be presented with things and we'll feel like, wow, this is my way out. This is my way up. This is exactly what I need. And without thinking for a second, let me think about how this is going to fit into my life. Let me think about how this is going to affect every part of my life. Let me think about what I'm going to do if this doesn't work out. Let me think about how I'm going to adjust this when it changes. We don't really have that dialogue. We're just in the moment and we're like, oh yes, fuck yes, let me put all of my chips in this motherfucker because it's exactly what I need. It might not always turn out exactly how you want it to, but just because it didn't, like I said, it doesn't mean you have to say, fuck it, I'm done with this, I quit, I'm out. Sometimes you're able to find your way into something and, you know, find your way to basically make something work for you. Now, you also want to understand what can't work for you. You know, you don't want to try to make something. You can't wave a magic wand and turn it into gravy, girl, if that ain't what it is. But there are ways, especially when we're working with people, you know, there are spaces where we can, you know, see certain things change. So I feel like discernment is really important in this full moon as well. because discernment will allow you to see, do I need to quit my job, or do I need to have a talk with my manager in HR to get better benefits, get some more money, and get what I deserve? You know, do I need to leave this relationship, or can I have a conversation with this person to make this work? Do I need to move out of my home, or can I just redecorate, you know, get some new energy in here, switch some things around and upgrade my lifestyle? You know, there's a lot of ways to make yourself more comfortable, still giving you what you want, you know, because some people, you might not want to leave the job or leave the relationship. You don't have to feel forced to scratch everything and start a new life every time you realize something is wrong. You can definitely adjust the things that you have, but you have to be comfortable adjusting and moving around a little bit. Some of us won't even have a conversation with a friend and say, hey, I'm not really liking this. Do you think we can talk again? Or do you think we can have a conversation about this? Do you think we can open this back up so I can get a little bit closer? I'm not really appreciating how we ended this conversation. Some of us won't even do that. So now what? Now the friendship is gone? Now the relationship is gone? Like, there's so many times when we lose out or we miss out on things because the realization was supposed to lead you into a new beginning instead of leading you into the ending. And I also feel like, because I've definitely had friendships that I've walked away from literally without a conversation, and I definitely have regretted it, you know, especially as I've gotten older. I'm 27, so I'm a grown woman now, honey. I'm a grown woman, and I definitely can look back on decisions and things that I've done in college and be like, okay, I should have had a conversation with them, or maybe I should have talked to them. But I don't let that hold me back. I'm now in great relationships, great friendships, and I make sure I express myself effectively and I communicate effectively with them because I understand the importance and I learned from that regret. And that's another thing too. Even if you don't act right now, when you feel the regret in 2 weeks that you let all of this opportunity pass you, remember that in the next 6 months when this happens again. Because this is something, life is cyclical. You know, you're always going to be in spaces when you're really, really up, and then you're really, really low, and then you're really, really up, and then you're really, really low. That's really how life is. But those low moments, pulling knowledge and wisdom from those low moments, like I said, knowledge is power, knowledge is freedom, knowledge is bliss. Pulling that knowledge from those low moments will help you when you low again, because it's coming again. You will be low again. So taking the knowledge that you can from those moments will help you sustain yourself in the moment, in the current moment, but also in the future. Because you always gonna have issues with bills and with friends, and like there's certain things in life that we cannot, you know, avoid completely. But every time the issue pops up, you don't want to always give it World War III, girl. Like every time the issue pops up, you want to just, you know, hey Suki, hey Suki, I haven't seen you in so long. Hope you're feeling great and doing great. It's been too long. But yeah, everything, I'm trying to stay right in the middle. And that's the thing. I really don't feel like there is a sweet spot in life. You know, everything really is balanced, but it's an extreme balance. We're either very, very good or not so good. But you can control how long you stay in those not so good spaces, and you control how those not so good spaces affect you. You know, you control if you allow those not so good spaces to get you down and keep you down, or if you allow those spaces to help you grow, help you learn, help you expand, and help you be better and do better. Because like I said, we are going to be in this situation again. You know, like it's normal, I feel, for us to be in a space right now, especially since the collective is so connected. Like, we're all dealing with the same thing. I'm dealing with the same thing right now. Everybody has been talking about these energies, guys. So I've really been seeing the same stuff pop up for a while for everyone that I've been working with and for myself. So I really feel like collectively issues have been coming up, but they've been coming up for reflection, for wisdom, for power. So you can see, wow, this is how I need to fix it. This is what I need to do. This is how I need to move forward. So yeah. I guess I'll pull a few more cards. If anybody has any questions that you guys would like me to pull for the collective, if you guys have any general questions, then I definitely wouldn't mind reading a question or two and pulling some cards or a card, just so we can kind of, you know, talk about some different things that you guys might be thinking of for this full moon. But yeah, let's just see how we can move forward, or what's the best way to make the most out of this space. I am good, Suki. You know, I always feel good when I'm able to see my OG girls. I always feel good when I'm able to see my OG girls, you know. Okay, guys, so we have the King of Wands. The King of Wands, this is motivation, inspiration, beating the odds, coming a long way, finishing the race, finishing the tournament, you know, crossing the finish line and being like, damn, I did that. So I feel like, you know, God wants us to know over everything. All the nasty reversal cards, there is victory in this for us. And it ain't going to take that long to get there. You know, like the King of Wands, like I said, is about beating the odds. It's about performing something so great. People are like, damn, how the fuck did you do that? How the fuck did you bounce back from that? And you know what I've been thinking? Because I've definitely been thinking like, dude, this valley is so fucking low. I know the next peak gonna be the dumbest, because that's really the truest shit. Like, the darkest hour is just before the dawn, and your valley is just as great as your peak. So if you are in a very, very low space that's a negative 100, bitch, prepare to be in a positive 100 in a motherfucking millisecond, for real. Like, if you are in a low space that's draining you, that's really, really hard on you, then understand that it is preparing you for a space that is so fucking high. I also feel like, you know, we're in these spaces to humble us as well, and to just remind us that, like, hey, like, you don't ever want to get too comfortable. You don't ever want to, like, you're on autopilot, exactly like I'm about to say right now. You don't ever want to feel like you're just going through life, just going. Because eventually that's what you'll feel. Like, we need challenges. We need obstacles. We need to survive. And we need to put effort into our survival. And we need to put effort into our life. Because if we don't, we literally would just sit on our asses and enjoy. And probably not even really enjoy it that much, because just like when people have always been rich, money doesn't mean anything to them. A Rolls Royce, a Bentley, a 5-star hotel, that doesn't have any value to them because they've always had it. So being in spaces where you experience obstacles, being in spaces where you're like the King of Wands and you've gone through the motherfucking trenches, when you get to that finish line, oh, you are going to show so much gratitude. You're going to uplift people. You're going to bring people up. But you do not want to forget who you are as this King of Wands. You do not want to get to your finish line, and then when it's time for you to start the next race, you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm such a failure. It's like, wait, you were just on top of the fucking world a couple of months ago. You know, like, you do not want to forget who you are in victory, because who you are in victory is the same person that you are in defeat. And it's not really defeat, it's just a transition. But who you are at your best is the same person that you are in any space that you're in. And I am definitely a money kind of girl. You know, I like money. I like nice things. I like taking trips and doing all kind of stuff. And I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm not always going to have, you know, when you're an entrepreneur and you're working for yourself, the money is not always consistent. So you might be in a space where you make $1,000 in an hour. And then you might be in a space where you make $1,000 in a week, you know, and that's just what it is. But you have to remember that the person that you were when you were making all that money, the person that you were when you were finding love, when you were trusting your intuition, when you were eating right and treating your body good, you still are that person, even if you don't feel like that. You know, like, your best is still within you, and you want to be able to bring your best out of you whenever you need to, however you need to. You want to be able to call on that version of yourself. And accepting all versions of yourself is how you get to the best. You cannot accept your higher self if you do not know your shadow. You cannot accept your higher self if you do not know your shadow. So for a career card, guys, we have the King of Wands in reverse. Excuse me. For the career card, we have the King of Swords in reverse. King of Swords in reverse. So just don't allow yourself to be manipulated, or you really want to trust your judgment. And if you decide you want to do something in career, then do it. You know, don't allow poverty or insecurity or doubt or what people are telling you to manipulate you and make you feel like you aren't ready for what you feel and what you know you're ready for. A lot of us might just be working to release doubt and to just trust ourselves how we never have trusted ourselves before, because the next step requires complete faith and trust in yourself. So yeah, trust yourself 110%. And if you want to be a boss, if you want to expand, how do you think you're going to be a boss if you second guessing every one of your decisions? That's not really a boss thing, you know. So you want to work on that, and there are ways to work on it. And you also want to understand that the stuff you got to work on, it's not like you're going to finish this by the time the full moon is a half moon again. Like, These are things to pick up on that you're going to be working on for the rest of your life. Like, anytime I don't have a day where I make a certain amount, I'm always like, oh my God, am I gonna be able to pay my bills? Am I gonna be okay? Like, I have anxiety, bitch. I can't fucking help that. I'm going to be in spaces where I am anxious all of the time, even though I know God is good, and even though I know God is taking care of me. But you have to be able to reel yourself back in. Like, that's something else I realized. It doesn't behoove you to beat yourself up for being human. It's human to doubt yourself or question yourself. It doesn't make sense for you to beat yourself up for that. But when you are questioning yourself, you want to be able to remind yourself, like, you know you good. Because remember last time, and you shook back, you're going to shake back again. And I always have conversations with myself all the time. And I always let myself know, like, no matter what you're dealing with or what you're experiencing, think about what you came from. Like, when the pandemic hit, I had just moved to Atlanta. I had just got dumped. I didn't have no fucking money. I did not have no friends. I did not have no family in Atlanta. I used tarot to fund my move back to Dallas and to move into my place and to build everything that I have. And I literally learned how to read tarot cards and was doing readings and had a business in less than a fucking week. I've made something from nothing many times over. Many times over. I've overdrafted my account so bad and brought it back many motherfucking times. And I'm going to probably do it many more times. And I'm always going to come back. Like, that's what you have to remember. You will always come back. You will always come back. No matter what happens, you will always come back. And I've been like, hey, I get real. I always come back. And I feel like God always puts me through that because I need to be reminded, like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Because sometimes you forget what you can do. Sometimes you forget that you really have the fucking power within you to do whatever the fuck you want and to take yourself from fucking 0 to a motherfucking 100. You have the power to do that. Literally, like, God has already put it in you. You're already at 100. You just have to challenge yourself to see that in yourself every single day. Let's see what we can expect for 2023. I love you guys. This is my first time doing a live, doing anything live like this where I save it. Just talking about downloads and just kind of, I don't know, just using my gifts in this way. Because usually when I have these downloads and these conversations like this, I have conversations like this all the time where I'm just connecting everything and figuring out what everybody in the world is feeling at once. But when I have these conversations, I'm usually just kind of talking to myself, walking around the house. Or I do have a podcast, honey. It is called it's called Talks from Your Virtual Sister Circle. The podcast I basically created because I created an online platform called Your Virtual Sister Circle, where basically, you know, Black women or women who need a space for Sister Circle. But Sister Circle is predominantly something for African American women, you know, because we have not always been able to afford therapy, you know, so it's for the Black women to come together and, you know, share our stories, the Sister Circle. So I have an Instagram profile for it, and I was like, let me create a podcast for the Sister Circle. So it's called Talks from Your Virtual Sister Circle. And, you know, we basically get into a bunch of different stuff: relationships, media, social media, friendship, love, family, whatever. Confidence. And I think we have 7 or 8 episodes up already. But I always have the link posted in the community tab and in my description box of my videos. But yeah, I appreciate y'all so much for being here with me and for me, and I hope that you guys really enjoy this experience, and I would love to do this more, especially as I get downloads. So definitely be on the lookout for more of these because I really enjoyed this. We have the Hangman for 2023. We have the Hangman. So this is all about new perspectives. Can I get a hallelujah, amen? God is good. New perspectives. So this is definitely the energy that we all need to be expecting to step into for the rest of the year. New perspectives, being open to new perspectives, being open to release, letting go and letting God. This person is hanging upside down, and look at their enlightenment. Look at the joy they get from looking at something from a different perspective, from looking at it like, let me not see this as an issue. What are the solutions? How can I make this work? Let me not see it as I'm losing all my friends. I'm about to find the friends that I need. Let me not see it as every day I got a new fight in my relationship. I'm figuring out what isn't working with us so we can make it better. You know, the Hangman is really about, you know, new thought processes, new ideas, letting go, letting God, and surrender. Surrender. The only peace we really have in this life is surrender. Real shit. Surrender. Surrendering and just trusting that God will handle everything. So yeah, the Hangman card is definitely one of my favorites. I love this card. So yeah, the Hangman card is what we have for the general energy of 2023. New perspectives and, you know, letting go and letting God, which is literally what we talked about all day. Yes, and that's another thing. I've never done a live at night either. I'm usually always on during the day, but I definitely will be back on. Even if I can only do new moons and full moons, I definitely will be back on to do more of these this evening because I really appreciate it. So, advice to surrender. We'll talk about advice to surrender, and that will be how we close out. So, when you want to surrender, I think it's important to just think about your relationship to God, because I understand no matter how hard I work, no matter how much I make, no matter how many things I make or how many products I sell or how much services or readings I do, if God doesn't allow people to find me and book with me or shop with me, I'm really not going to have nothing. And I also know even if I'm sitting on my ass, God will allow somebody to come and book me for 3 YouTube videos and pay my rent for the next 3 months. You know, it's like I have been in situations where I haven't done anything and God has come through and I literally wasn't doing anything. And I've also been in situations where I have done everything and didn't make a dime for days and was working my ass off. So I have understood that I'm not really in control anyway. And it doesn't matter how hard I work or how much I work. If God doesn't want me to have it, or if God says no, then I won't have it. And it's not about God not wanting you to have something, because God wants us to have whatever we need, of course. But I feel like it's important to just remember that there's spaces where we have done everything right and it didn't go out how we needed to in the end. It didn't work out how we wanted it to in the end. And there's been spaces where you literally just fell into a perfect situation and scenario. And I don't think that anything is coincidence, of course. I mean, who the fuck would I be if I thought stuff was coincidence? I wouldn't even be doing this. But I feel like because I've seen God show up in my life so many ways through surrender, and I've really seen what it looks like to not worry and not stress and just be like, okay, God, I'm just going to trust you and I'm just going to keep doing what I can do in the meantime. So for me, surrender looks like not stressing, even though that's so hard. It looks like being in prayer and just talking to God and being like, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna just keep being positive. Surrender looks like being grateful, even though you feel like you don't have anything to be grateful for. Surrender looks like, you know, not beating yourself up and being nasty to yourself because things are working out. Surrender looks like looking at things from different perspectives. Surrender looks like looking at yourself the way God looks at you and realizing like, wow, I am powerful. I am, you know, a winner. I am victorious. I am who God wanted me to be, regardless if I have X amount of dollars or this person that loves me or this friend or whatever. You know, surrender is just freedom. It's releasing control. And I feel like we are made to feel like we have control over so many things. And that can kind of bum you out when you've been putting all your effort and energy into stuff and it still isn't working out. So for surrender, I would say just think about your relationship to God. Think about how God has showed up for you, because God shows up for us in different ways. I know how God has showed up for me. I know my own relationship with God. So I definitely would say just check in to your relationship with God. I'm also going to save this, guys. So if you guys want to rewatch this, if you didn't catch the whole thing, I am going to save the live. But yeah, I feel like if you have an opportunity to just, you know, talk to God and figure out like, what does surrender look like for me? Does it look like meditation? Does it look like, you know, not stressing, not worrying? Does it look like me still speaking nice to myself? Exactly, I was just about to say that. Does it look like me being kind to myself even though I'm not really doing that good, you know? Surrender can look like a lot of different things, but I think overall surrender is just you treating yourself how God would want you to treat you, or you treating yourself how God is treating you. You know, no matter what happens, God is keeping you safe. God is looking out for you. And I feel like it's just important to, you know, look out for yourself and be kind to yourself. And I feel like that's the best way to surrender, you know, just trust like, okay, no matter what happens, I'm going to trust God and let God sort this out. and I'm going to do whatever I can do here to make it work. So if that means that I clean my space so I can get more organized, if that means I go to sleep earlier so I'm not that stressed, if that means I have conversations so I can express myself better, because there's still things that you can do, you know, but you want to do things that will help you and will help God help you. You know, that's surrender too, helping God help you. You don't want to do things that are going to beat you down and make it more difficult for you to listen to your intuition and tap into it. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can do, but I hope that made some sense. So yes, guys, I appreciate y'all and I love y'all so much, and I appreciate you guys for accepting me and welcoming me fresh-faced on this beautiful Saturday evening to bestow upon you some full moon energies. And I hope you guys enjoy this. I am so obsessed with YouTube because I feel like YouTube is really the only place where I can really be myself, because I'm a little nuts, I'm a little eccentric, but I feel like here you guys are very, very real with me. I appreciate being real with y'all, and I hope that you guys really appreciated this this experience and this download slash carpool slash, you know. And like I said, I love videos like this on Instagram. Not on Instagram, I love videos like this on YouTube. I'm always watching my favorite diviners get into the tea. So I'm excited to, you know, share more of these with you guys. So yes, I love y'all. I appreciate you guys, and I definitely will let y'all know in advance the next time I do one of these, so you guys can be sure to tune in. But I will see you guys later, and like I said, I'll save the live, but I will see you guys later, and I appreciate y'all. And yes, love you guys. Have a good one. Bye, guys. Also, if you guys want to book private sessions, the link is going to be in the description. The link is always in the description box. That's where the podcast is, or that's where you can shop with me and book with me and all of that. My candles are from Bath and Body Works, and I'm burning white gardenia and champagne toast. But yes, I love y'all, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys. Bless.